Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets, going live on November 2nd. So November 2nd, it's election day in Virginia. So there's pollsters that are, saying that it's going to be a tight race. I think it's going to be definitely down to the wire. It's up to Virginians how they basically, go in this race. McAuliffe is, he's a baddie. And I think that a lot of people are starting to see, them part, even Democrats. So there's a lot of Democrats that are saying that, our party is a mess and we need to start looking for other options, and hopefully clean this stuff up. So as we move forward, we'll see after tonight, what if that's really the case, or if they're going to steal another election. I think Trump's come out and said that if this election, like his election, is honest, that we won't see McAuliffe in there. So we'll look at that and we'll see what the outcome of that is. We should know and not too long from now. So it's kind of getting late in the game now. So we'll see. I think in a little bit, who's going to win this race. So like Elvis Presley, he couldn't really act that good, so he would sing his lines because I gotta win this race. So that's what's going to happen tonight. So who's going to win the race? And will it be the good guys, or are the guys that basically steal elections? So that's kind of what it's down to. And I think that we might actually pull this one off. The good guys might actually pull this off. There's a lot of pressure. We know that the U.S. Postal Service didn't deliver 300,000 mail-in ballots, so that's a big chunk. It's a big chunk that they probably would have used to steal a big chunk of the election. But there's a lot of northern Democrats up there around D.C. that are, very, very anti, I guess, Trump. So they tried to use that. McAuliffe was like, the whole campaign for the last several weeks was my opponent loves Trump. My opponent loves Trump. Trump. Just nothing but Trump. And so we'll see. We'll see if that gathered traction, or if the people of Virginia see the Biden, catastrophe for what it is, and they're like, these guys suck. So we voted an idiot. We have buyer's remorse. Voted an idiot in office. So a lot of pollsters are saying that if the election were held again today, that it pretty much Trump will win. Of course, we know that Trump won to begin with, but would it be even more people that would vote for him? And now that we know how deep the steal was, and if there were probably now there are systems like we just saw with the Postal Service not delivering mail-in ballots. If there were more obstacles that were put up to reduce the cheating, maybe it would be a big win. Maybe a lot less people would have voted bad Democrats into office, and bad Republicans, really. There's definitely probably 85% of Republicans that are in there right now bad, right? And I say just about, there might be one or two, really, maybe one or two. I don't know, maybe some states that I know about have some decent Democrats in them, but the Democrat Party pretty much is full on deep state. So what happens going forward if the Democrats start to lose? The Democrats start to lose their power. Was that something that needed to happen, as far as like people being aware of this? We're seeing the military is being decimated right now. We're seeing that airline pilots, airline industry being decimated. We're seeing doctors and nurses leaving those organizations, hospitals shutting down, police forces, being wiped out, firefighters wiped out, throughout a lot of cities. course, there's still some, but those guys are going to have to work their asses off, to fill those gaps. And I guess they are. So they're going to be more susceptible. And that's one of the things they've been finding, finding out, that a lot of firefighters are becoming more injured. There's more of them getting injuries because they're having to work more hours, less rest, less sleep. So that puts a strain on people, and eventually, and you're going to get more injuries. So the same thing is happening in the military. The military is being basically taken down, right? Being taken down. So without a shot being fired, military is being ravaged. Is being they're saying that this thing had to go into people's arms to keep the military combat effectiveness up. It's decimating it. So it's a big fat lie, right? So this experimental drug is causing havoc. So it was always that way. So we know that was a bioweapon. That's been proven now. Everyone knows that thing that came from Wuhan lab, that came around the world, and that Falsey and boys, basically, and company, probably not all boys, probably some women, unfortunately, that's involved in that. You would think women, they're intuitive, they would never, kill babies, but yeah, they are. So there's a lot of evidence that's coming out now that in October they were talking. I've seen some of these clips now where Faulty and other evil people were talking about, if we had something that, because they were talking about how the flu, no one pays attention to the flu, but what if we created a situation, they're literally talking this in October 2019, what if a situation was created where it would be forced on people? So they were having these discussions just before this thing blew up. And of course, we know that they were working, they were paying to have, gain of function happen in China, taxpayer expense, right? American taxpayer expense. So we paid to have ourselves attacked. So we were attacked by the people that are running all these organizations, three-letter agencies, starts with an F, ends with an A, starts with a C, ends with a C. Those type of organizations have been basically not in the best interest of Americans, even though they're posing as that. So this posing is being revealed, and that would not have been revealed unless this horrific thing had happened. So we had the Wuhan flu. We had them preparing, to make this thing a bigger thing than it is. And then once they made it into a bigger thing than it is, then they got to get their, their thingies in their arms. So they're making a ton of profit now. And basically what that's doing, it's compromising immune systems. We'll see more. We've already seen higher incidences of deaths and millions of people that have been adversely affected. Millions. Bell's palsy, hundreds and hundreds of, nearly 1,000 women that spontaneously miscarried their babies upon getting that snake bite. So lots of problems, guys. More adverse reactions than and deaths than all former jabberdoos combined throughout the history of jabberdoos. So it's insane, but yet they still push these things. And the thing that really is upsetting to me, having been a former military guy, is that they're forcing it really hard on the military guys. We had Hunter Biden basically get kicked out with a less than honorable discharge for using crack cocaine, being busted. And now we're going to have American soldiers and sailors and airmen being discharged with a dishonorable discharge, which is the worst thing. That's like treasonous. If you've committed treason against your country, these are the people that have risked their lives for their country, and now they're going to be dishonorably discharged. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. So, I mean, with that comes, not only we're having people that are, to the point of retirement. Imagine you've worked 19 years, 19 plus years. I hear a lot of people, 12, 10, 15, 17, 19 something years, almost close to retirement. They're not going to do that thing. So they're going to lose all their benefits. And if they have leave stacked up, let's say, you can stack up like 90 days worth of leave. If you're very busy, like I used to be in the SEAL teams, you just don't use leave because you love your job and it's so fun, so adventurous. You're just out there doing your thing. You take a leave, a couple of days here and there, and that's about all you need. So you can get up to 90 days worth of leave. Now, sometimes you can sell that leave back. So if you have that much leave and you're in a position where you're going to get dishonorably discharged, you lose all that leave, which is basically 30 days that you take off and you get paid. So that's like 30 days of vacation that you get every year in the military. So there's a lot of people going to lose that too. So imagine all that. So once you get a dishonorable discharge, not only can you never come back into the military, but also it's like a bad mark. So when other employers try to look at hiring you, if you have a dishonorable discharge, it's like a big red flag, right? So it's unbelievable. And they're also saying that if you've been paid extra pays, you've had training and all that kind of stuff to fulfill, like SEALs, if you've had SEAL training and you're getting out before your commitment, so you have like so many years after you do SEAL training that you're required, because they basically pay a lot of money. So it's upwards of $1 million per SEAL for just the basic training. I've had millions and millions of dollars worth of training in the SEAL teams and CIA, millions and millions. So those guys have had a lot of training over the years and are getting out, not just SEALs, but also pilots, right? Pilots are getting out. Doctors are getting out in the military. All these are very, very hard to come by. So this lie about military readiness is being effective if someone doesn't get that thing. That's a big fat lie. So imagine all those people that are, being forced under duress to get that thing. Imagine how pissed off they are. So yeah. So it's very frustrating. I feel for those people, not only in the military, but also throughout all walks of life, all over the world, that are, all over the world. You see massive push back in Australia and other parts of the world. So that massive pushback in Australia is coming for other parts of the world, because Australia is a testing grounds. I've been saying that for a while. So if they get away with it in Australia, it moves to other areas of the world. So expect it to be coming. More coming. So today, I know, was supposedly some big event day that I saw. A lot of people saw. I didn't see anything today, although there's little things like airports shutting down and all kind of crazy stuff. Lights going out, and I'll bring some of that stuff up. Lights going out in LA airport. So one of the terminals went down, and then there's thousands and thousands of flights that are being canceled because there's not enough people to fly, and the people that are like walking away because they're seeing other people that are going bye-bye when they get those jabberdoos. And it's not only in the civilian realm, it's also in the military realm. So there's massive problems with the guys that do the pilots, right? and probably, airline, uh, people that, I want to call them stewardesses because but it's not stewardesses. It's some other term now. But kind of some of those terms stick. So anyway, it's a big problem. January or November, I think, is 8th. It's supposed to be a massive, basically everything stops day. So we'll see 8th through the 11th. 11th being Veterans Day. So lots of problems going forward, I think. So now a lot of you, myself included, are like, when does this end? When do we stand up and stop this thing? I'm a little tired of watching the movie stuff. It's about time for the movie to end. And if we have to tear the projector off and shut it down, I'm pretty close to that. So I know a lot of other people are. So I'm kind of like, okay, we're gonna do this last little thing where maybe we stop the wheels of this machine 8th through the 11th. And if nothing happens after that, it's going to have to be, you say you want a revolution, it's going to happen. So, and if I fire the first shot, whatever, so that's the thing that's things is coming, guys. That's my take. That's what I'm going to do. Right. And that's how I'm moving. Right. So, let me see if I can get this desktop to share. So I just got my computer redone, so it's like playing games with me as I'm trying to share my screen. So that's another crazy thing about deep state stuff. So they've attacked all my computers, and so I just basically wiped this computer, and I had it redone. So I got everything was wiped off of it, all the little critters that they probably threw in there. So now I got to redo everything, and it's not playing. I thought it was good, but I can't share a screen right now, so I got to figure that out. So I have to talk through some of the stuff. So I have you guys know crop circles. You've seen the crop circles. Ever wonder, whatever happened with that stuff? Well, it was suppressed, and the people that were involved in that program were, had some difficulties. All right, we'll put it that way. Now, there's one person that I've come across when I'm doing my C60 Evo. You guys have seen those films. If you haven't seen the C60, it's basically fantastic stuff. I use it on my skin. I take it internally. It's magnificent stuff. Highly recommend it. So Patty Greer, who's part of that group, was also probably the #1 crop circle person. So she did lots of video, went to England and talked to doctors. It had absolutely amazing stuff that happened to her. So I've been after I met her on C60 Evo, we had some conversations, and it's like she's buried her stuff, and she had some difficulties. Of course, she got it, attacked in certain ways, like we all do. And so she's been laying low, but I think she's ready to come out again. So could be a coming out on my show. Anyway, she's going to join me on Saturday at 3:00. Hopefully it works out. Crop Circle Films. So I wish I could share the screen, but I can't. cropcirclefilms.com/free. cropcirclefilms, one word, .com/free. Go there and you'll see Crop Circle Films by Patty Greer. Oh my God. It's going to be a magnificent conversation. So I've been fascinated by crop circles for a very long time. Had many books. I've wondered, what happened to them. She may go into that, but the science behind this is over the top. It's over the top, and she reveals it in her videos. She's won tons of awards. She's definitely cutting edge. You guys are in for a treat. So Saturday at 3:00, you don't want to miss that. Patty Greer, Crop Circle Films. So we're going to be doing that. Have other amazing guests, always coming on. Now, go to duckduckgo.com and put in number dying under new experimental vaccination, right? Number dying under new experimental vaccination. So then it's going to come up with, deaths pile up without media coverage. More deaths last week than COVID-19 deaths. All right. In a span of 1 week, the number of deaths due to COVID-19 vaccines reported, obviously, I'm not going to be able to leave this video up. It'll go to Rumble, to the government's database, outnumber the official count of deaths due to the virus. So the government vaccine adverse event reporting system, or VAERS, contains voluntary under blah, 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 blah. Then it goes on, if you pull it up, and I highly recommend you use DuckDuckGo, because you pull up on the regular Google, it's going to give you like, no, there's nothing here, nothing to see. It's all false. It's all fake. It's all fake. So children are dying at a rate 62% higher than the 5-year norm, right? And this was, is the increase in deaths began at precisely the same time children started receiving what? That thing in the arm, all right? So DuckDuckGo, put that in. You're going to see the real news. It's going to be revealed. And it's the way we got to do these things, guys. We have to start looking, in the places that has the real news, because it's being suppressed. We're being lied to massively. So another one, internal CDC emails show why they changed the definition of vaccine again. All right. So here's what it was pre-2015: vaccination, injection of a killed or weakened infectious organism in order to prevent the disease. That's pre-2015. So vaccination 2015 to 2021, the act of introducing a vaccine into the body to produce immunity. So see how it went from prevent to immunity to a specific disease. Vaccination September 2021. The act of introducing a vaccine into the body to produce protection. So we went from preventing a disease, immunity to a specific disease, to protection from a specific disease. Why do you think they have to keep changing that? It's to protect their asses, all right? Because things are going to get pretty bad for them going forward. A lot of people are going to be held accountable. Okay, so military waives penalties for service members who refuse COVID jabberdo. So at least I'll keep this live. All right, if I get too out of control, they'll kill me midstream. So I'll once this is done, I'll take this video down from YouTube. You guys are going to see this on Rumble, the rest of it, if you're coming in later. Okay, so the vast majority of active duty force has received at least one. So this is key, at least one shot, but tens of thousands have not. And for some, it may be a career-ending decision. Others could face transfers, blah, 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 blah. So they keep turning the screws up on these guys. So it says military vaccination rates are higher than those of the general population in the United States, and the reasons for objecting, often based on misinformation. If you go through Google and other puppety doctors, say this and we'll pay you more money, which totals nearly 60,000 active duty service members, according to data released last week. Officials say the numbers change daily and include those who have gotten or requested an exemption. So each case is going to be treated specifically and individually as it ought to be. Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby's a liar. He's a liar, because we've already seen and I'm going to show you how the Marine Corps has a blanket no. And it's already been discovered, right? Commanders can also move service members into another job, deny them overseas deployment, limit unit access, blah, blah, blah. Navy has warned that sailors who refuse shot and don't get an exemption may have to refund bonuses and other financial payments. Air Force may be the test case in some instances because they are the first to hit a deadline. The more than 335,000 airmen and Space Force Guardians must be fully jabberdued by Tuesday. I guess that's today. And the Air Guard and Reserve by December 2nd, according to Air Force data. As many as 12,000 active duty airmen and Guardians were still unjabberdued as of late last week. So that's a lot. And there's a good reason why, because a lot of people are seeing people have massive problems with these things. It's producing problems in the guys that go up and down, up and down, up and down a lot faster than everybody else. So I've had the experts that have been on to talk about that. It's because of the way they sit, and it's blood clotting and all that stuff. So civilians have until November 8th to seek an exemption. As of last week, fewer than half have provided proof. So remember, I said the thing about at least one vaccination. So you're not considered fully jabberdued unless you have both, and it's been like time after the first one. So they're having a higher number. Listen to that. Higher number of deaths now that they've started this program, this jabberdu program. But they're saying it's in people that are unjabberdued, because until you get your second jabberdu, so you get your first jabberdu, 2 weeks later, your second jabberdu. And what does that do? It makes you like, okay, now you're jabberdued. But if you have a problem and after you have your first one, like if you die, you like, they put the needle in your arm, and we've seen people that have actually passed down and died. We've seen it on camera. Remember that one nurse that, like, she, right after she got jabbed, she started getting wobbly, fell down and died. All right. So that's something that's happening to people, but they're, if you haven't been through the full cycle, getting your second jab, then they don't count it. They don't count it. So there's people that are dying at a higher rate than ever before. You would think there would be immunity. You would think that the people that are already jabberdued, it wouldn't be a problem. But no, it's the people that are getting jabbed, and they got that little break period, that 2 weeks, and people are dying within that period. So the rate of people dying, and they're marking them as COV is higher than ever. So that's one of the resistances people are having to getting this, because they're seeing there's problems with it. And if they're forced to do it under duress, they're like, please God, please God, please God. it's up, right? So Marine Corps commanders using form letter to deny religious exemptions. Marine Corps commanders across different commands are using the same form letter to deny religious accommodation. Remember how I said the spokesperson for the military is like, oh no, every case is a separate special case. Negative, liar, pants on fire. So these guys are lying everywhere. We know that. And military guys know they're lying. They're pissed off. They're pushed into a corner hard. No one's coming to their defense, and they're getting jabbed, right? So, fortunately, these guys are super healthy, so they'll probably last a little bit longer than most, and eventually it'll get to the point where that's not going to help them, all right? So if there's any turnaround this, and some of us are like, of course there's going to be a turnaround, and then there's a lot of people are like, you've been talking turnaround for a long time. I know. It is getting real frustrating, isn't it? It's like, what do? We start to do what we're doing right now. We talk about this stuff. All right. So people are contacting me. I'm contacting other people. We're talking. We see this thing, and I tell you, snap of the fingers, there'll be an uprising. So, you're going to push back on this in your own way. So there's different ways of pushing back on it. You have to. So some of you are like, who am I to, have any impact? So imagine that, so a lot of people are leaving California. So California tax rates are like the highest in the country. So what happens when hundreds of thousands of people leave California? Their tax base is leaving. So they don't get those taxes from us, right? So I'm basically taking my money to a tax-free state. There are no state taxes in Florida, right? Personal income tax. So 0. And I think Texas is the same. I know Alaska is the same. So there's other states that don't have any income tax. All right. So a lot of people are going to those states. So we're moving away from these evil places where they take our taxes and use them against us. All right. The federal government takes our taxes and buys these jabberdoos and puts them in people's bodies. I don't agree with that. All right. So you have to start to make your own decision. There's a lot of us that can make decisions that can, make a massive impact. All right. So it's like that walkout that we're going to see on November 8th through the 11th. So imagine that walkout happening in that arena I was just talking about. So you have to make your own choices on that, because there's going to be quite a little pushback, and they have control. A lot of people are fearful of that, right? All right. So yeah, the Marine Corps is doing some very evil stuff. So I think all these commanders that know that they're doing bad things will be held accountable at some point. So U.S. soldiers are speaking out. This is Pogs of Calm, POGSOFCOM. So Pogs of Calm. This is on Rumble. So look them up. You get some really good stuff. I'm going to play a little piece so you guys can listen.
Explain the triggering aspects of this vaccine. And when Moderna says that their mRNA technology is the, quote, software of life, what exactly are they talking about?
Well, again, we are not using a normal way of making a vaccine. We are putting a code inside of you. It's recombinant, part from nature and part synthesized. And so it's a genetic code, and what they're doing is putting an envelope around it with nanolipid particles. It's nanotechnology. The nanotechnology is there to ensure it sneaks past your body's defenses, because normally your body would kill something like this immediately or disintegrate it. So it sneaks past the defenses into your cell and then tricks your cell into making that code, which is literally the spike protein or part of the virus. You'll be spitting out bits of the virus inside of your body.
So this one is U.S. soldiers speak out. It's 4.5 hours long. So this is, when I was listening to this today, I was getting pretty fired up. I was like, dang. Now, some of it, one piece, I did research on it. They're stating that Joe Biden signed an executive order that anyone that hasn't got the Jabberdo, that's a veteran, doesn't get served if you need service at veterans hospitals or whatever. And from what I saw, I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true or not. You see a lot of different stuff, but from what I saw, it's not the case. Now, I haven't actually gone to do this because I'm a very healthy guy. I'm not going to push. I'm not even going to go around the hospital. All right. So I guess I could call. I guess anyone could call and find out that this is real or not. But that little piece that I played for you, I played a lot of those pieces, those clips, and I have a lot of that stuff on Rumble. Like I said, this will be on Rumble. This will not live here for very long. Hopefully I can get it done and then, knock this out and then put it over on my other site. So this is something that there's lots of information out there. It's being buried. Right? But we're seeing the results of it. We're seeing the results of a lot of this stuff. So for instance, Let me bring up another article. Lieutenant Colonel Teresa Long silenced by U.S. Army after grounding pilots experiencing adverse reactions to jabberdoos. So 3 out of 3 officers that were going to fly high-end jets. She says, I saw 5 patients in clinic, 2 of which presented with chest pains days to weeks after vaccine in jabberdoos, and were subsequently diagnosed with pericarditis and worked up to rule out myocarditis. So heart conditions, right? So blood clotting is very prominent in these jabberdoos. So these injections basically are causing serious problems. So after I reported to my command my concerns that in one morning I had to ground 3 out of 3 pilots due to jabberdoo injuries, the next day my patients were canceled. My charts were pulled for review, and I was told that I would not be seeing acute patients anymore, just healthy pilots there for their flight physical. Wow. So this normally happens in, like, we saw this in like Soviet Russia in their dying days, where they, you know, just didn't want to see the truth. And we saw the consequences of that with Chernobyl, right? So they don't want to hear that there's problems to their agendas. So that's what we're seeing right now. So we're seeing a lot of people being silenced, and that's going to have its consequences going forward. All right. So, you know, they're lying about they're wanting to protect combat effectiveness. That's a big fat lie. They want to destroy combat effectiveness. They want to destroy it, and they're destroying it. All right. So people are leaving the military, high end, the most highly trained people there are. You're getting pilots that can't fly because they're experiencing for the rest of their lives, unfortunately. And we've seen this is in young people too. 21-year-old. I remember there's part of this group of this documentary, basically a conglomeration of lots of little snippets of information. It's really good. People speaking out and so forth throughout the 4.5 hours. There's lots of people that are having issues. So one 21-year-old came out and talked about how, you know, he was the peak physical health playing football, got the jabberdoo and myocarditis. So now he can't play. So his whole life, he trained up to this point and was hoping to have a career, you know, in you know, the professional leagues, was looking in that direction, was gonna this was his year to shine, so he get like perhaps picked up, got the jabberdoo, and now he's ruined, can't play, right? Has heart problems, and will have heart problems. Once you get these heart problems, your heart, once it's damaged, it's not like the rest of your cells. They don't regenerate. Once they're ruined, once there's a problem with them, there is no return for them, right? So this is a major problem. You know, lots of problems with the heart with this jabberdoo. So I would just walk away from it all, right? So I mean, I have walked away from stuff. When I saw evil, I walked away from it, and my life just crumbled, and I was like, well, either I rebuild from that, or, you know, and that's what I did. I just walked away from the evil CIA, and I rebuilt my life. So it was tough. It's very tough. And you know, like I've talked about, I had nothing left. And barely enough food with a backpack on, walking Pacific Crest Trail. And so I put my trust in the angels and God, and here I am. So I'm back again. So, and you know, there's these are only decisions that you can make. No one else can help you a lot of times. You know, it's a one person decision. Now you'll have support, but not always. You might be completely on your own. And that's what I was pretty much that whole time, pretty much on my own. All right. So, what else? So systems back online after power bump prompts flight delays at LAX. So I can't show it to you, but there was a whole group. Where is it? What's it say? So a whole hub. So you know how they have like these hubs, you come into an airport and it's got like long lines. You got like a hub where you come out where there's planes that are parked in the hub, and then you have another hub and planes parked in. So there was a whole hub that was taken out. So let me play it for you.
LAX this morning, but last night, boy, was it a mess for passengers. What a nightmare for them. You already have those mass cancellations for American Airlines nationwide, including here at LAX. Add that power outage to the mix and really isn't a pleasant time for anyone. Take a look at this video because it's something that you don't see every day here at LAX or at any airport across the country, for that matter. An aerial view of a dark terminal last night. Ground footage of inside shows alarms going off, people sitting around waiting, checking machines closed, crews from the LADWP running around, scrambling, trying to restore power and figure out what exactly caused all of this. Airport officials say the brief outage happened a little after 7 p.m., impacted all terminals, and delayed more than 30 flights at Terminal 6, most of them for Alaska Airlines, as the Federal Aviation Administration rerouted them.
Right. We'll pull you away from that emergency signal, guys. That's a pain in the ass. Well, basically it goes on. It talks about how, you know, American Airlines, I think there's like over 3,000 flights. You know, we keep having these airlines basically are having these, you know, canceling flights. Of course, they're saying because of weather, that way they don't have to refund money. So they just like divert you or give you a little, okay, here's an airline check for, you know, getting another flight, same kind of flight, same kind of money. So if they were to say, hey, it's our fault, then they have to like totally reimburse you big time and pay for your rooms and all kind of crazy stuff. So they're going to continue to do stupid, right? Because they're forced to. So it says American Airlines canceled over 2,300 flights since Friday. Airline canceled 413 flights, or 14% of its schedule, and delayed 516 other flights on Monday. Over 50% of American Airlines flights were either delayed or canceled Sunday. As travel demand has begun steadily. So see how they spin this? Travel demand is increasing, so they need to bring back, you know, some of the people that they put off. Flight attendants, so not stewardesses anymore, it's flight attendants. Sorry if I offended anyone. So flight attendants, and we'll welcome 1,800 more from leave in November. So we're in November, so we're going to bring back more. Obviously, probably not if they're unjabberdued. So these cancellations came a week after hundreds of current and former American Airlines employees protested the company's mandate outside its headquarters in Fort Worth, Texas. So they're saying that by November 24th, that everyone has to have that in their airline. So it's continuing throughout these problems. Of course, if you are interested in all my stuff, you look down in the description box. Jaco.com is where I have all my courses. So if you want to increase your intuition so you can tap into this stuff, my courses are there. Also, C60 Evo, like I talked about, 10% off already. You can get percentages off if you get it on a plan, or you buy it in bulk, stuff like that. So even up to 35% off if you buy in large bulk size. So 10% off also. Jaco 10 if you go to Ascent Nutrition. Ascent Nutrition, of course, we've had many videos where there's stuff in there that helps you against the jabberdew stuff. So you really want that. The pine needle extract is very, very popular. I think they still have some. I'm not sure. They were getting pretty low, so you want to get that stuff as soon as you can. Lots of other stuff in there. I I've also used the EMF products. I have it all on my computers and phones. EMF harmonized basically has technology, Tesla technology, in even higher levels. Usually Tesla goes 3, 6, 9. They've taken it up to the next level, which is 12. So very, very high tech. I was like doing, and I've used their product a lot, and they have like these patches. So there was one time where I like jammed my thumb working out, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna deal with that for a while. Put one of their patches on the thumb, and I had relief. I was doing like toe raises, to build my calves, and using some kind of heavy weight. Hadn't done them for a while, so not smart to try and do the same weight again, right? Always, huh? I should know better after most of my life doing the weight lifting. But sometimes you tweak out. So I tweaked my foot. So I'm like walking around like a peg leg, like a pirate, and I'm like, oh, that sucks. And I use like a little vibrator on it, and massager, and it made it worse. Then it swelled up even more, and so I like took Motrin. I went to bed. I'm like, okay, he'll probably be better in the morning. So I get up and it's still really swollen, it's really tight, and I'm still limping around on it. And I was like, oh, the EMF harmonizer patch. So I put it on top and bottom of my foot, and within minutes I got relief, could start to walk normal again. So the stuff is absolutely amazing. So basically what it does is it reduces inflammation. And right now, after wearing it for a couple of days, you leave it on for 2 to 3 days or longer if you want. And it basically takes the inflammation down so you can heal. So that's the problem with a lot of stuff that happens to us. And inflammation is one of the biggest problems, disease causing and so forth. So they also have wearables, not only on your phones and stuff like that, but it's also you put it on computers and any your TVs, anything that puts off EMF frequencies. So really good stuff. So 10% off that if you use Jaco 10. And also, if you're in gold and silver, which I highly recommend, we have a link in there so you can hook up with some gold and silver. Highly, highly recommend you get gold and silver. So you guys know I've talked about crypto. Crypto's still doing really well. I think crypto is still going to go higher. So I have people that come in and say, so I just talked about how 5, 6 years ago, I was in desolate times, right? And I worked my way back from that, and started putting some money in crypto a couple of years ago, a little over 2 years ago now, and just a little bit because I didn't have a lot, and it was like I started to see something there, and I was like, boy, I thought that stuff was going to go to zero, but still got life in it. And then now that I'm looking at it more, it's like it's the future. So I have invested in it. So all I could invest in at the time was like $50 here. As it doubled and tripled and quadrupled, I'd like take that money and put it in another one, and now I have a lot of money in crypto. So I built it up over time. That didn't happen overnight, so being intuitive and using your intuition, because I've gotten out of all the stock market crap. Well, 2008, 2009, and get out of 2001, and I got spanked hard on that one, lost a lot of money. And that was very easy being in SEAL teams at the time, put a lot of money in because everything was like going crazy. And it crashed like 75% or more. And it was a long time before it came back. So, and I invested in gold and silver, and I said, everyone should get in gold and silver. And then I said, get out. And then after it went to the moon, and then I got out and made a lot of money on that. It was a good time because that's when everything started to fall apart in my life. So it kept me going for a little bit longer. So then I basically, like I said, was destitute for a long time, and then came back out and started doing some other work. Was able to, we had like one car. I had like a ghetto car. So I had a ghetto car that was constantly breaking down. And I was like, screw that thing. So I just started riding my bike to work until it like snowed like crazy. And then I had to like, get another car. So it was crazy. It was crazy times. One ghetto car that I had like died. I had to leave by the side of the road. I was like, come get it. Give it to the VA. It's like the veterans, and they got a free car. Hopefully get some money out of that. I didn't get much. I got a little tax break, but that's about it. So, I mean, you come back, you build your life back. I found that if I focus, like zero focus on stuff, which I did in the SEAL teams and in the CIA and stuff like that, it can build. You can build wealth. You can build anything. So I used the intuition that I built after the Archangel Michael experience, like I told you guys about, and all the stuff I learned in SEAL teams, and remote viewing and all this kind of stuff. And I've learned how to do the things that I do. Right. I would not be doing what I'm doing right now if I didn't have some of those amazing experiences. And then I wouldn't be doing it now if is when I was in the wilderness and Archangel Michael was time for you to go back. Remember, we had this little detail, we had this little deal. So I'm like, okay, so what am I going to do? So this is what I'm doing. This is what I was led to do. And I think this is a very critical time, a very critical time in history of the world. A lot of us are going to look back on it and say, what did we do? What could we have done more? So I never want to look back and say, what could have done more? I'm doing everything that I can, everything. I'm being guided. There's a lot more that I would like to be doing. As you guys hear me go off sometimes, but I'm routinely guided to share this information, share the gifts that I've been given, so that others may learn and use them in their lives and prosper and go forward and stay healthy and all that good stuff. So it's a very amazing time to be alive. I think that on the other side of this is going to be an amazing time. So we're looking at Youngkin. Will he win? Trump says that he will if the vote is honest. So McAuliffe, the Democrats unfortunately have, they used to be good. Democrats used to be good, although they killed Kennedy. So, or somebody killed Kennedy. He was one of theirs. So did you guys set him up? We know that the guy that came in to replace him was pretty shifty, and seemed to be involved in it. So, I don't know. It seems like, this thing's been going on for, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. It gets pretty weary when I look back on all the lifetimes I've had fighting these guys. But I really feel this is the last one. And a lot of us go forward after this. So it is frustrating, but it's also rewarding to have overcome such incredible obstacles, defeat death, basically laugh at death several times. So, and pretty much all of us are right now, aren't we? Pretty much laughing at that death. Fortunately, some people are not using their intuition and are succumbing. And I think that's going to be, we'll see a lot more. The numbers, I think, are just getting started for people going bye-bye from that jabber, you guys. So just prepare yourselves. I think a lot of you guys are. Don't get overwhelmed for that. It is what it is. Free choice. If you're not using intuition and you're just going off of stupid that's been brainwashing you, then you're going to do stupid. Stupid is as stupid does. Remember that Forrest Gump saying? So it's frustrating. I know we're trying to clue people up. Some people are breaking free. Some people are waking up. This one woman said that her daughter finally woke up to this because they're wanting to do all this stuff on top of other jabbers to her children. And she's been telling her daughter for years. And finally her daughter's like, I finally get it. And they're like, okay. So now she's working on getting, she says, 10 of them out of California. So more power to them. Don't pay your taxes. No, that's up to you guys. I'm not calling that. Maybe I'm dropping a little something there. So it's up to you guys what you want to do. If you want to get the jab or do, or if you want to do your taxes, if you want to do stay in a state that's evil, it's all up to you. Sporting evil, just not going to do it. Just not going to do it. And they're at war with us. I see people, they're going to war on American citizens with that jab or do. I'm not going to support it. I'm not going to support it. Financially, I'm not going to support it. Right. And if they come for me, I'm ready for that. So they're warring against me. Bring it. So we're in a war already. I mean, I've been to war all over the world fighting for America. I'll fight for it right here. That's what it takes. All right. So I'm not going to support people that are doing evil. I'm not going to give people money that are going to take that money and do evil with it. Period. Just not going to do it. Right. And it's up to you guys what you do with your money. Obviously, if you feel fear that your world will crash down if you don't do the right thing, I've always pushed the envelope. Always pushed it. Right. So will I do it? No, I'm not going to. And final words. So you guys are like, what's going to happen to me? Hey, Mike. We'll see. Right. So will they make example? Maybe I'll be, one of those guys that you're like, look back on. It's like, yeah, he went too hard. he ran his mouth too much. I've always ran my mouth too much. Always gotten in trouble for that. Oh, well. So, all right, guys, lots of love out there. Stay in the love vibration. Hopefully I will be able to get this thing. So I'll be able to, give you guys the visual next time. So I'll play around with it and see what's going on with this. It's very, very frustrating, but sometimes it's good just to chat and face to face, eye to eye, and just have this, here's what I see. And next time, hopefully we'll get some visuals because, I'm a visual guy. If you show me the stuff, it's easier for me. But I am audible too. I can listen. All right. And I know you guys think I have a pretty face. Well, maybe not. I don't think I got a pretty face. All right. Lots of love out there. Stay happy. Stay positive. No matter how bad it gets. That was one of the things that we did in the teams and in the CIA. We're always like making jokes, having a good time. Even things were like super bad. It's like, they're coming to kill us tonight. And we hear that every night. It's like, no, they're not. I got a big bubble around this place. We're good. But some people, you can't tell that. So the guys that knew me were like, when they said they're coming tonight, they were kind of like, shoot a look at me. And like, I'd be like, they didn't come. So we don't know why they're not coming, because all our contacts that have told us that they're coming and they were right all the time. We don't know why that's not happening. Well, maybe it's because there's a bubble love around the place. All right. So bubble love, you like that? Not a bubble of love, a bubble love around you. Jumble it, jumble it together. And so bubble love yourself and your family. And if you're living in a good place, bubble that place up. But if you're not living in a good place, I don't know, maybe bubble that place up too. Maybe it'll make a difference. I don't know. I just get the hell out. So, all right, guys, lots of love, and we'll see you guys next time.